Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. So there is a lot of Batman news coming out as of late. If you are a Batman fan, this is probably the best time for you because we have the Lego Batman game coming out next year. We also have two separate movies releasing within the next couple of years as well, which is The Batman, the Brave and the Bold and The Batman Part 2. And over the past 48 to 72 hours, the topic of Brandon Sklenar becoming the DCU's Batman has been getting very hot. And we are going to be explaining why Brandon Sklenar might become the DCU's Batman. So first of all, James Gunn recently had a conversation with the rest of the Peacemaker actors. There was like this podcast that did air a couple of days ago, and he did explain in the podcast that he is obsessed with the movie 1923, and he was watching 1923 over the past few days, and he explained that he loved Sklenar's portrayal of Spencer Dutton. If you guys do not know, Gunn has a history of scouting rising stars from television, just like what he did with Millie Alcock. She was amazing in House of the Dragon, and because of that performance, James Gunn said Millie Alcock has to be Supergirl, and this is the reason why almost everybody has been speculating that Sklenar is on the radar. James Gunn is actually looking at this actor as of right now. We also know that Sklenar's social media is very much active in terms of promoting himself to become the next Batman, because on Instagram, when he was asked about the Batman, Sklenar responded with a bat emoji, not denying anything, not saying yes, not saying no, not saying nothing about it, but just putting a bat emoji, which ultimately does mean that he is open to this role and that anything could happen in the near future. He even reposted a fan art of himself as the Batman. So it's almost as if he's trying to signal out to the world that yes, he wants this role, and yes, conversations could happen in the near future. And I don't know if you guys have been seeing Sklenar's physical shape right now, but one of his trainers also posted a picture of him being so shredded at the gym, like getting bigger than ever before. It's almost as if he's training right now for a specific role. And what else could that be, right? Of course, it has to be the Batman. And of course, when you are playing a massive superhero like Superman or the Batman, not only do you have to be tall, but you also have to be extremely built. And that is exactly what Brandon Sklenar has been doing. We also heard some news about an employee working inside Warner Brothers and how that person had a Batman suit fitting for the Brave and the Bold. And it was explained that the description for the fitting was a classic gray and black suit with short ears. And at the same time, for Sklenar, his agency actually pulled him away from an indie film because they wanted him to go into a major franchise deal. So it does seem like a lot of things are falling into place. And like, in my personal opinion, when we speak about Brandon Sklenar, because I recently saw him in the movie Drop, I think that he would be the perfect Batman. And yes, it also does matter what type of Batman James Gunn is looking for, because it's gonna ultimately make us decide what type of actor we do need. Sklenar, to me, in my opinion, is a very imposing, tall actor, somebody who has a great voice, who has a lot of authority in his tone as well. And at the age of 34 years old, that is the prime age to really build a long-term Batman arc. He's only going to be 2 to 3 years older than David Cornsweet, who is 31 years old. So age-wise, this casting also makes a lot of sense. And I do think that the most biggest hint that we can get from this, whether we should believe that Brandon Sklenar could become the DCU's Batman, is going to be about him and how he does speak about the character itself, because he had an interview and he stated very clearly that the Batman is his childhood dream role. And he said that he would love to do it, like he wants to do it. He's very passionate about the character as well. And that's always going to be a positive signal, right? Because if you have an actor who desperately wants to be a character like the Batman, obviously you have to look into him, because you know they're going to be taking the time and energy to really make sure that they portray the Batman perfectly in the DCU. But I would say that as of right now, it's very 50-50 in terms of what the fans want to see, because half of the fans are saying that no, Brandon Sklenar is not somebody that I see as the Batman. I'd rather just have Robert Pattinson. And then you have the other side, the other 50% explaining that yes, this is the perfect casting. So it is very 50-50. I would honestly not mind. I just really do think that the most important thing that we must get right, and it's really going to come down to James Gunn, but the most important thing is, can you write the character correctly? Which is going to be the next thing that I want to talk about, because here's the thing. It does seem likely that we're going to be having two different Batmans for the next 5 to 6 years. One of them is going to be Robert Pattinson's The Batman, and then we're also going to be having James Gunn's version of The Batman. Most likely, it could be played by Brandon Sklenar. James Gunn made it very clear in an interview about 3 to 4 months ago, and he admitted that Batman is my biggest issue in all of DC right now personally. And he he explained because managing two Batmen at once is extremely hard and it is going to be confusing for the audience. He also explained that he does not want to make a Batman movie just because Batman sells. He wants a version that has a purpose within the DCU and is different from Matt Reeves' dark, grounded detective story. Hence the reason why I did state earlier that if you're going to make a different Batman outside of Robert Pattinson's The Batman and put him into the DCU, you have to write him correctly and you must make him distinct. Gunn expressed that he's not writing the script himself as of right now for The Brave and the Bold, but he's heavily involved in the development and he made it clear that I'm not interested in a funny, campy Batman, and his goal is to have a Batman that is serious, a grounded version with emotional weight and narrative clarity. James Gunn also revealed that The Brave and the Bold will release before Reeves does finish his trilogy, so that really does not say a lot because who knows when Matt Reeves is gonna finish the third film. I mean, like, we barely got the second film and that's not gonna be releasing until 2027, so it'll be 5 years, and then what, like maybe another 5 years to release the third film. So let's just say, to be safe, that The Brave and the Bold could release anytime between 2028 and 2029, because if we're talking about 2027, there is just no way you're going to be releasing the Batman Part 2 and The Brave and the Bold film on the same year. Now, there has been a few people saying in the media that maybe we could see the Batman in the DCU by like early 2027. Like, let's just assume that they finish the script by October later this year and then maybe start production in February. I just really don't think that's going to happen. I really do think that that's going to be really pushing it unless the production and the idea of creating the DCU Batman is like that advanced right now and we just don't know it. But I really want to play it safe and I don't want to tell anybody here that expect for a Batman movie like The Brave and the Bold to be releasing anytime between January through May 2027. I just don't see that as a possibility for now. So Batman already exists in the DCU and it has been said multiple times, even through the projects, that he's active in the DCU and that there is going to be no origin story needed. But I do think that James Gunn is going to do great things with the Batman. He even said himself that we're going to do great things with him. I love the Batman. And so expect for his appearance to come out very, very soon. Maybe we might not get The Brave and the Bold anytime soon, but expect for his appearance in live action to happen in one of these projects. We could see his appearance in Clayface, maybe Supergirl, maybe in the Superman sequel, maybe in the Superman Supergirl team up film. You just never know. Clearly, James Gunn is not afraid of putting in Easter eggs, putting in small cameos as well. We're gonna get a lot of cameos in those last 3 episodes of Peacemaker season 2. We'll see who they are, but he is not afraid of that. So I do expect to see our first encounter with the DCU's Batman within the next year and a half. James Gunn has been planting a lot of seeds of what's to come. Like, for example, in the Superman film, we saw the Gotham City road sign. Going to the Peacemaker season 2 episode 1 situation, we saw Arkham Asylum being mentioned, Bloodhaven, which is another city also being mentioned that does contain Nightwing, one of the sidekicks of the Batman, who is a former Robin. We even got introduced to Sasha in Peacemaker, who is one of the bodyguards of Bruce Wayne and also a love interest of Bruce Wayne. It's crazy. The White Rabbit cameo was also there, something that we did talk about in the previous video. It's a lesser known Gotham type of villain, but very much affiliated with the Batman as well. So let me know in the comment sections down below. Do you believe that Brandon Sklenar is going to be the DCU's Batman? Like, what do you think of this casting? Do you think that he goes well on portraying the Batman? Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.